The 21st floor has Bokoblins and ice keys. The bats in particular are a pain because they can freeze you and do a lot of damage, so you can optionally stay up here on the upper platform and shoot them from afar with a slingshot to conserve your arrows because you'll need those later on. Or you can just lock onto them with the Gale Boomerang and pull them up to you so that you can pick them off one by one before you actually jump down into the room. There aren't that many of them though, and a well-placed spin attack will take care of most of them with ease. This is particularly nice in the Wii version because the spin attack is easier to do in that game as opposed to the GameCube version. After they're all defeated, you want to use the ball and chain on the frozen doorway to proceed. This next room contains ghoul rats, which will latch onto you and slow you down, but they can only be killed when using your senses in your wolf form. However, the combination with the other enemies in this room makes it kind of hard to effectively use your wolf form without taking damage. Instead, I recommend jumping down and using spin attacks when you're highly informed to kill them. This will allow you to quickly use your shield to defend if they jump at you, and with the ghoul rats attached to you, you can also use jump attacks to move fairly quickly across the room, killing off all the remaining enemies. The extra range of your sword makes this a much better method of taking care of them, in my opinion, because that way the rats won't jump at you and hurt you, because you're moving slowly in your wolf form. Once they're all defeated, use your senses and use spin attacks to kill the ones that are attached to you, and then go find the remaining ones and kill them too. There's a whopping 3 hearts that are buried within this room, so be sure to grab them before you move on. This next room contains Stalkin, which are skeletal enemies that will come out of the ground once you get close. Using spin attacks or Midna's charge attack in your wolf form are probably the best ways to defeat them, but you can also roll through them if you're quick, and you just run straight through them and then immediately roll at the last moment, and then that way you won't take any damage. This is a really important little tip in case you get cornered by these guys and you can't find a way out. Don't just panic and stand still and just slash them with your sword. You want to run away. Always keep your distance when you're dealing with Stalkin. ReDeads can be extremely deadly because they take out a huge chunk of your life if they successfully hit you. They're also invincible when they're laying down and only become vulnerable once they stand up completely. This means that you can only attack them from the balcony if they're already awake, and most of the time they're not. Whatever you do, do not attack them up close because you'll most likely get hurt and also wake up more than one at a time. If you are fighting more than one at once, then it makes this quite a bit more difficult. Instead, it's much better to keep your distance. You want to fight one at a time by either tossing bombs at them or using the ball and chain. If you're at the right distance, this heavy iron ball will hit them twice and will defeat them quite easily. It's also an option to hit them with a well-timed jump strike, but that will kill them in a single hit, but it's very hard to pull it off correctly because you have to do it just outside of their screaming range, and so you'll most likely won't pull it off. It takes some practice, but you can do it. The only problem I have with that method is that you'll most likely also wake up others that are nearby. Yeah, I kind of noticed that Archer was shooting at me just after I jumped, so I couldn't avoid it. Oops. So once you've killed the Bulblin archer that is in the tower, you want to run to the edge, and you'll see there are 2 more archers below that are behind the tower. You can snipe them from up here, but this also means the other Bulblins will run over there to investigate. The other tactic is to charge up a jump strike from up here, which will kill most of the club Bulblins because they're standing in front of the tower, and then when you land, you'll kill all of them. Now, the only problem I have with this method is that the 2 Bulblin archers that are behind the tower will still be alive that way, and I think that method has more potential for you to get hurt, so I prefer to take out the archers instead. So whichever you prefer, either take out the archers and then deal with the club Bulblin, or use a jump strike to kill all the club Bulblin and then take out the archers. So here, when you jump down, try not to jump in the middle because that's apparently a bad idea. Oops. You want to clump these Stalfos together, and then you can use either a bomb arrow, or you can lay a bomb on the ground to make them walk into the explosion, or just smack them with your sword, and then smash the bone piles with the ball and chain. Now the first time here, there are only 3 Stalfos, but every time you come here after that, there are 5 at once. The Skulltulas in this room will stay hanging from the ceiling until you get close, but if you're worried about it, you can go ahead and knock them down ahead of time, but I think they're easy enough to avoid, and they don't usually come after you unless you get really close. I recommend you wake up all of the bubbles first by simply circling around the room, and then turning around to finish them off. Now the Skulltulas themselves can be knocked down by either using the Gale Boomerang or the Claw Shot. This will get them down on the floor so that you can fight them. Also, either one of those items will also work to stun them to get past their defenses once they are on the ground. You use either the Claw Shot or the Gale Boomerang. This will make their defenses go down so that you can run and smack them. And alternatively, you can also use your wolf form to strafe back and forth so you can jump around them and attack them from either the side or behind. Now after defeating a tougher enemy, you can hold still and press the A button to make Link sheath his sword all fancy-like. There's also a recovery heart that you can dig up in this room, so be sure to grab that too. On the 28th floor, the biggest threat by far is the Lizalfos in the middle. A single bomb arrow when their defenses are down will kill them, and luckily they're also quite curious. Fire another bomb arrow right after the other, and it will take the second one out before it even starts running at you. The remaining red Bokoblins are quite easily defeated with a variety of different weapons, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Just run in and slash them up. The 29th floor has a large variety of enemies, and it looks a little intimidating at first, but have no fear. There are two ways to go about completing this. You can either lay bombs and lure the enemies into the explosion while you defend, or you can run through the gathering of Stalkin and use spin attacks as you go. You can roll between them to avoid taking damage as they occasionally stop to confront them. Now the Stalfos can be killed with bomb arrows, bombs, or the ball and chain. Now here, for example, there's no enemies left, and I should have used the ball and chain on the pile of bones to finish them off, but instead I wasted some bomb arrows. Now the 30th floor contains the next Great Fairy, who will release fairies within the Eldin Spring, which is in Kakariko Village. You'll need the Dominion Rod in order to continue, so either warp back to the surface with her, or join me for the next video where I will show you the next 10 floors of the Cave of Ordeals.